Well, I've been reading, 80-year-old book on, 1961, a 60-year-old book on reincarnation. And quoting all the ancient people, right back to sort of Egypt and back to, 1700s and so on, all sorts of dates. And it strikes me that if reincarnation is the case, most of us are not remembering previous life, so we wonder what's carried forward. And it occurs to me it's a disposition. So Marshall comes into the world as a little boy, and by the age of about 7 or so, even 6, he seems to have a sort of benign look about him. When I look at my photos, there's this sweet boy. So I think what we carry forward is a disposition. In other words, you start to fit in with certain values. You take to them naturally, they fit with you. You may have to still have to be taught such, in the sense of you need contact with such, but what you gravitate towards, something deeper than values, that make you happy with certain values rather than others. So not just memories of past lives, basically, although there are exceptions, aren't there? Clearly. I think pretty clear. And not even carrying the same values, but you could almost say character. I would actually want to say something like somewhere between disposition and character, so that, someone might talk about being vegetarian because you don't want to harm the animals or not go fishing, and it rings true in you sort of think, I value that. You take to certain values. You come with a disposition, and as you travel through life, perhaps not only the values adjust, either intensify or change a little in different ways. Some values you drop, some you take up. But ideally, at least, you progress. And by progress, I mean towards values that are, as it transpires, values in this world, in this universe, consistent with a predisposition which is going to be right, if you like, in heaven with God. I'm thinking of it pictorially as in God's family, the host of heaven. So it's not so much the values are a consequence of my predisposition in different environments, and different environments will make me drawn to certain values that are appropriate to those environments. But it will still be my predisposition, that takes to certain things in a particular universe or situation, environment. And I might not take the values with me because they're not appropriate, say, to to heaven, or some intermediate universe to which I'm going to call it the astral world, but there may be. But what matters is I carry forward a predisposition of a certain type, which is being matured, fashioned into that which is going to be right for heaven. And I don't mean that we're all going to have the same disposition in heaven. I think there's a uniqueness to each person, like character here. And perhaps it manifests as, I expect it would, manifest as character in heaven. In other words, values, perhaps even values sound a bit fundamental, don't they? But well, whatever the theory, there has to be some sort of whatever's essential to lovely fellowship, which is love. And you can love people different to yourself. You can't love all differences to yourself, but you can certainly reach out across the divide to many, especially when there's this great predisposition to do so. You want harmony, you value life and blessing, joy, goodness, harmony, grace. Yes. That's as far as I got. Thank you, Dad. Let me return to the beginning. This is my AP Synod. Theosophists will know all about him. 1885, October. I'm on page 69 of a book called Reincarnation, compiled by Head and Cranston. And I'm in the first complete paragraph. In truth, no hard and fast line separates the varieties of spiritual conditions, that even the spiritual and physical planes are not so hopelessly walled off from one another as materialistic theories would suggest. That all states of nature are all around us simultaneously. Well, I understand him to be highlighting the fact that we're not just in physical bodies, we're already spiritual as well as physical here. Astral and causal and so on. It's that we don't have knowledge of it, awareness of it. Our eternal home is, if you like, in heaven. In some sense, pictorially, that's where we're going. It's where we're going to return to, when we're right. But our true self, that's inhabiting these various bodies, well, I want to say that our manifestation in the physical realm is influenced by those bodies, not just the physical. So the purity of who we are is maturing through the experience of these bodies that we are now in, that at our coming out, what's this, the debutantes, we emerge as a beautiful young adult. Can I say, despite the mud that the lotus was planted in at the bottom of the pond. Our dream state, and perhaps the state of meditation, is an awareness of a parallel of our activities, or the parallel of the influence of each of the bodies that we are in at present. So that perhaps, at night you might be experiencing astrally or causally how such dimensions are relating to your physical awake life in the universe of uncertainty. You might get dreams that give guidance or raise concerns, fears and so on, which are perhaps another form of guidance and an expression of such needs that you might not have been aware of in the physical, and it manifests as such memories as you may have of the dream when you wake. The obvious that more is going on to your life than meets the eye, especially your own eyes. What you're doing in the physical is having repercussions upon your total state of being, which is not just in the physical, but in the realm of the other bodies that you are simultaneously in. So in meditation we're seeking, I'm thinking, to achieve a good influence on such from the experience that we're having here, consciously in the physical, in our waking state. And although we forget most, if not nearly all of such, when we're asleep, we could be marshalling the effect and consequences of monitoring such, becoming aware of such on those other planes. Preserving again some link to when we wake up. We actually remember bits of what we dreamt. We may not be able to interpret and understand such and know what it stands for, so we just dismiss it and plough on during the day. Or we may be concerned about such and such. And, I think of my mum's problem with claustrophobia. I mean, she'd have a claustrophobic dream. She would wake up and, what did you do in consequence? Well, you took all the catches off the cupboards, and there were many. Bedrooms were built into the roof of the house, so to speak, chalet, threw them upstairs into the dormer windows and so on. So you do something in the physical world which is influenced by your understanding in the dream state. How you are feeling in response to you suddenly realise, oh, it's getting dark, and it's a shortcut is across the recreation ground, but you're a woman and on your own. You think, oh no, I don't feel right about. I'm not happy about walking across here. I think I'll get a cab, or I'll walk around on the main street where there's more people and streetlights and so on. It's safer. You get my mum used to get premonitions of what was about to happen. Not so much in the dream state, but just in the waking state. She just, I think so and so is going to die. Because they do. Oh, she's a witch, I suppose very simply what Synod is saying is that something that we've become more used to and accepting of now, which is that we are not just manifesting the physical life because of the physical body and the physical situation, but our spiritual bodies and the dimensions that they are in are also affecting through to our physical life. And it works probably two ways, if you think about it, doesn't it? That we can perhaps influence them for the better. We're not just seeking guidance in this physical world. We are actually here because what we gain in this physical world will be a blessing to us in the other dimensions, leading to the final great blessing of being right in heaven, the family of God. Thank you, Dad.